Entertaining, educational, and encouraging content that makes a difference.
This is GSPN.TV.
Join the community.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte of This Week in Tech, and you're listening, you're smart, to Cliff Ravenscraft. He is the podcast answer man.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Podcast Answer Man. My name is Cliff Ravenscraft, and this, my friends, is the podcast devoted to helping you take your message, your business, and your life to the next level. That's right, my friends. It does not matter if you are brand new to this online content creating world we live in, or if you have been creating content for many years. There's something we can all do to take everything we do in life to the next level. And well, my friends, I'm about ready to take things to the next level with one of my favorite podcasts. Actually, no, I'll just being very transparent with you. My favorite podcast that I produced in all of the years that I've produced shows. Now, if you don't know this about me, I started podcasting in December 2005. And since then, I have produced a total of 30 different podcasts. And of those 30 different shows, I've done over 3,200 podcast episodes. So I've done a lot of content creation over the years. And my favorite podcast of all is a show called Pursuing a Balanced Life. Now, this podcast happens to have over 600 episodes already. And it has been, I would say, the best explanation of what it's been since its inception up through now has been an audio journal of my life from the time when I started podcasting as a hobby all the way through to where the dream was birthed of pursuing podcasting as a full-time career, and then, of course, making that decision, leaving my career in insurance behind, entering into the world of the unknown, aka building a business, and then what it's been like to build my business to where it is today, which has been quite successful. And there have been, I would say, probably just about 1,300 individuals who have listened to all 600 plus episodes. And each episode's about an hour in length. So I've been extremely blessed to have a lot of people follow me on this journey. And, you know, I'm always thinking about how can I take what I'm doing to the next level? And of course, those are the things that I talk about a great deal, even more in depth in Pursuing a Balanced Life than I do here at Podcast Answer Man. And of course, over there, I get a little bit more personal. I talk a lot about the day-to-day in and outs of my schedule, the conflicts that I have with my scheduling and my priorities, trying to iron things out emotionally, spiritually, financially, all those different things. Those are the kinds of things that I share over there in Pursuing a Balanced Life. And a couple, I'd say, almost a year ago, or maybe it's just seems like it's been about a year ago, I was listening to Dan Miller's podcast, and I heard him play a song on his podcast that was made by a few of the listeners to his show. And this happened to be a theme song that they had written. They had listened to Dan's podcast and had listened to it enough and been influenced by it enough to know exactly the heart of Dan Miller and why he created his show and what his show is all about, the theme or the message of what the 48 Days online radio show is all about. And when I first heard this song, I'm like, man, I don't know that really fits for Dan's podcast. And I was mainly thinking about this theme song that they created. And it just, when I listened to Dan's podcast, the very first thing he's always done is he opens up with the music from Bachman Turner Overdrive, Taking Care of Business. And that's always been his intro music. It's very high octane, very upbeat song and gets you right into the mood. And he used that at the front of his show and at the end of his show. And so when I first heard it, I'm like, I just don't know that would fit for Dan. And I heard him play it in the show, and he played it, and that was it. He played it one time in the middle, say, wow, thank you so much, Todd and Emily, for creating this for me. And a couple other times he would play it just randomly, like every month or so I would hear it pop up and he would play it. And I'll tell you, there was a time, I guess it was probably the second time I heard Dan play this music in a show. It grabbed me. I'm like, wow. I listened to the words and all of a sudden I found myself kind of singing along. It's like I'd already picked up on some of the words, and the next thing you know, I'm humming this tune. And I reached out to Dan because he, at one point, he made the decision to finally close the show with this song. I guess Dan had heard it enough a couple times, and it really started to stick with him. And he at the end of the show, he says, I'm going to go ahead and play this whole song here at the end of the show. And he did it another time a couple weeks later. And I reached out to Dan and I said, Dan, I think you should just end this with this song, this great theme song that they've written for you every week, just at the end of the show. And if you listen to Dan's podcast, you know why it's probably not going to replace the intro, but I love hearing this song at the end of every single episode. And as a result of that, I've been thinking, and he's been telling me, Todd and Emily, they have this business that they created called Gifty Song. And as a result of that, I've been thinking about having a theme song written for my own particular podcast. Now, before I go any further into this story here, and by the way, we are going to be talking to some guests on this week's episode. We're going to talk to Todd and Emily, who are from GiftySong.com. But I want to play for you the theme song that they had written for Dan Miller's 48 Days to the Work You Love online radio show. And let me just go ahead and hit play and let you hear that song now.
Stuck in the J.O.B. Can someone set me free? I've had enough of this. This life is meaningless. These hours don't pay enough. This work is just so tough. I need to get away. The clock is ticking, so don't delay. It's gonna take your whole heart. It's gonna take all you've got to make the future you want, to change the future you've got. 48 days to the work you love. 48 days to the work you love. This could be your chance, so take it. The keys are in your hands, and the world is waiting. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it go. It's gonna take your whole heart. It's gonna take all you've got to make the future you want, to change the future you've got. 48 days to the work you love. 48 days to the work you love. 48 days to the work you love.
Well, there you go. That is the song that I initially it didn't strike me as something that fit the show, but oh my gosh, I can I think there was 1 week recently where he may have ended the show with something different, but he's gone back to ending each week's show with this again. And I will tell you, I look forward to hearing that song at the end of every episode of Dan's podcast. And I do. If I'm alone, I am singing it as loud as I can because I love every word of that song. It's the words that they chose to write to include in that song are all the reasons why I love Dan Miller's podcast. It has the essence of Dan's message in that song. And so, I started thinking, every time Dan would talk about Todd and Emily and Gifty Song, I'm thinking I should probably reach out to them and see if I can get a quote for how much it'd be to have them create a theme song for my favorite podcast that I've ever produced, Pursuing a Balanced Life. Well, I never got around to doing that, but instead I got an email from Todd and Emily, and Todd wrote me back on March 15th. He says, "Hello, Cliff, you might not know us, but I've been we have a lot in common. For one, we're both in the business of making people happy and solving problems. We happen to do that through writing custom songs. We have had great success in teaming up with an amazing producer to bring our customers a gift that will last a lifetime, their very own song, written collaboratively and recorded professionally. We are reaching out to you for a couple different reasons." And so first, they had said, we created this song for Dan Miller on the 48 Days to the Work You Love podcast, and we would love to create a song for your podcast. And also, we'd like to know if you'd be interested in partnering together and helping promote our business to your audience. And if so, we could work out an affiliate relationship. So that was back on March 15th. And I'm like, man, this is okay. I was going to reach out to them and I was going to do this anyway. And this just fell into my lap. And I'm like, absolutely, let's move forward. Now, I will tell you, and I was straight up front with them. I said, my only concern is, what if you go through all the trouble of creating this song and I don't like it? You know what? I mean, I have no idea. I'm just telling you guys honestly, I have very eclectic taste in music, but what if I don't like it? I would feel horrible if you go through all this stuff and I don't want to use it in my podcast. How would I handle that scenario? And he says, well, we would do it together, and they put my mind at ease, to be honest with you. And it all worked out. Now, let me just say that my desire to have such a theme song was already primed by the fact that some of my other friends have theme songs for their show. So, for example, let me share with you. This is from Mark Mason's late night internet radio. He happens to be a member of my Green Room Mastermind group, and I'll play this for you real quick.
You've been working for somebody else, but you want a business to run yourself. You want to know how to start and where to begin. Can you get out your comfort zone, my friend? Yes, you can do it right when it's late at night. At the end of the day, your dreams burning inside. So keep it up and you will find that you're building your business one night at a time.
There you go. That's from Mark Mason's late night internet marketing podcast. And I always enjoyed just the way his theme song kind of communicated what his show is about. Ray Edwards has one that he uses at the opening of a show, and here's just a real short clip from that.
Let's change the world and watch your business grow. Welcome to the Ray Edwards Show. Ray Edwards Show.
So I just love these little jingles and stuff like that. And so what happened was, I'm like, man, I was primed for this. And so I certainly jumped at the chance to have Todd and Emily create a song for me. And it was a very simple process. Basically what I did is I filled out a form and they asked me if I had any key phrases and stuff like that. And here's what I wrote to them. These are the instructions that I gave. And it was very simple. I just sat there. I said, I'd like to have a theme song like what you did for Dan's 48 Days to the Work You Love podcast. My podcast is called Pursuing a Balanced Life. It's a show where I've shared my experiences in balancing the main areas of life, such as business, career, work, family, faith, fitness and health, and rest and relaxation. My key topics include building a business, productivity, time management, margin, relationship building, technology tips, working out / exercise, and eating healthy, etc. Key phrases that I use a lot. Number 1, take everything you do to the next level. Number 2, giving up on the ordinary to pursue the lives for which we are created. Number 3, I don't need easy, I just need worth it. And then I shared with them my personal mission statement. And I said, my mission statement is as follows. My mission is to pursue each day the life for which I was created. In doing so, I will share my passions, my experiences in life in an authentic and transparent way by creating content that is entertaining, educational, encouraging, and that will inspire others to take their own lives to the next level. I want to be known as a follower of Jesus who authentically attempts to live out my faith, though I may fail miserably at times, in a way that engages popular culture without turning others off. I want to always be prepared to give a reason for the hope that I have and to be ready to do so with gentleness and respect. I would encourage you to listen to episode number 583 of my podcast to get a feel for what this show is about. You can find that episode here. And by the way, that's at gspn.tv/start here. To give you a feel for some of the theme songs that I really enjoy, I have attached 2 theme songs to 2 of my friends' podcasts. One is the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast with Mark Mason, and the other is the Ray Edwards Show. I'm also a huge fan of the theme song that you wrote for Dan Miller. Is this enough information to get you started? Well, guess what? Just a few days later, I had an email from Todd, and he gave me a couple verses of a song, and I'm like, the verses didn't really have a lot of lot to it. It's kind of short and to the point, and I was hoping for something a little bit longer, and so he went back and added a couple more verses, and I asked him, I said, will I be able to give you some input and some feedback on what I think about the wording? And I didn't listen to, I didn't know that there was a file attached originally, so I just looked at the words, and the words didn't seem like they meant a whole lot. And then I realized that when he wrote me back the second time with the additional, with verse 2 and also the chorus and the bridge and everything, the words still didn't jump out at me as being like what I would imagine to be in a song, the exact wording. But then I noticed he had a rough draft of the song there, and oh my gosh, I fell in love with it. The words, as the words are written, once I heard them sung in the song. So let me just read to you the words that he came up with. And these are pretty much spot on, exactly word for word what my message is for pursuing a balanced life. But he says, today we're chasing after a meaningful life, on mission with a vision in our sights. We do not need easy, just worth the fight. All right? And then the chorus is, so come along for the journey. We're giving up on ordinary, going to the next level, and pursuing a balanced life. And then the second verse is, I've got 100 things I need to do, and how I will manage, I'll share with you. This life wide open, this day brand new. And then it goes back to the chorus. And then there's this bridge saying business and time management, building good relationships, faith and family, staying fit. We cover all of it. Now, again, the words it's like if you just read all of that together, kind of the way that I just read it to you is how I read it in my head. It doesn't sound like those words would make a great song, but then I listened to the attached rough draft. This is the very first rough draft that I listened to of all of that put together, and here's what it sounds like.
Today we're chasing after meaningful life, on mission with a vision in our sights. We don't need easy, just worth the fight. So come along for the journey. building good relationships, faith and family, staying fit. Yeah, we cover all of it. So come along for the journey. We're giving up on ordinary, going to the next level, and pursuing balanced life. Pursuing balanced life. Yeah, we're pursuing balanced life.
Alrighty, so there you go. That was the first draft that I got. I mean, wow. Blown away is an understatement, and I'm like, I love it already. I listened to it. I got that in my email right before I headed out to the gym, and on the way to the gym, I just listened to it on repeat over and over and over again. And by the time I was at the gym, I was singing it at the top of my lungs. I'm like, yes, this is exactly it. And of course, then he took that and he's like, okay, we're good with this. Then we're going to have this professionally produced in a studio. And that's exactly what they did. And I'm going to play that for you after my interview that I'm about ready to do right now with Todd and Emily. So give me just a moment and I'll bring them right into the show. All right, Todd and Emily, so glad to have you on Podcast Answer Man. Finally get a chance to meet you. I've heard about you over and over again for what seems to be the longest time on Dan Miller's podcast. Welcome to Podcast Answer Man.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Hey,
Yeah.
So tell me about Gifty Song. When did you guys get this thing created, and what was your idea when you first started it?
Was it last summer?
It was about a year ago, around Mother's Day, maybe a little before Mother's Day, something like that.
Yeah.
But we had just had a baby, and we're about to release our third CD. It's called Blanket Over Me. Our band is Battle Victorious. And to fund it, the duplication and everything, we did a Kickstarter campaign. And one of the tiers we did was write a custom song. And someone we don't even know, just out of the blue, was like, here's $500 to write a custom song, you know? And we were like, well, actually, it didn't really click until one day I was in the shower after the campaign was successful, and it just hit me. Someone we don't know paid us to write a song for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like this light bulb went off. And, I started doing some research and found a few other ones out there and just kind of went from there.
So that helped us to fund the duplication of that album. And it was an incredible thing because it happened in the last 8 minutes of our Kickstarter campaign. And we had already raised the funds we needed, but then there it was, this guy who wanted that song, and that's what started it. Yeah.
We had done a Kickstarter campaign for our second CD, and kind of the same thing. It was my ex-stepmom who ended up buying a custom song from us that time. And it took that stranger buying a song from us to kind of give us the idea, because we had written a custom song for other people before, but it was people we knew.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about Battle Victorious, and you've got a couple CDs. Tell me just a little bit about that. Is it just the two of you together?
We write the music. It's basically just us two. We perform as a duo. We used to do it a lot more before we had 3 kids, obviously.
We're playing tomorrow with a couple of string players.
Yeah.
So.
The albums are all filled out, full production music, and it's actually our most recent CDs are the same producer who will be working with us on the Gifty Song, high tier songs. If we get a lot of demand, we'll probably have to reach out to more of our producer friends, but right now it's just him.
So Battle Victorious, is it Christian genre music or is it folk music? What is it?
I like to call it redemptive folk rock because it does have spiritual undertones.
But it's not like in your face, slap you with a Bible kind of stuff. It's
right. Yeah, but it's folky, singer-songwriter stuff.
Now, I made some assumptions about your connection with Dan Miller. I had made the assumption, and you can confirm or deny whether or not this is the reality. But my assumption is that you were, like me, a huge fan of Dan Miller, listening to his podcast and just really being impacted in a very real way, encouraged to pursue some entrepreneurial dreams and stuff like that, and you really grasped on to the heart and essence of what Dan Miller's podcast is all about and what his message to the world is, and you decided, hey, why don't we create a song for Dan Miller? Is that how that happened?
Yeah, well, in a way, it was more of like, I really like this show. This guy is like amazing. I could see us writing a song for him and him liking it and using it for the show. And just a way of giving back for devouring all his content.
Yeah,
Right.
Todd told me all about him. So I don't have much time to listen to podcasts, but I need to do that more. But with the 3 kids and I homeschool, I'm glad Todd fills me in on all the stuff I'm missing.
Now, did you create that on your own for Dan and then just present it to him as a surprise, or did you interact with him and get some feedback before creating the song?
It was the latter. I basically kind of went through the same process I did with you. I contacted him through email, and then he gave us a little outline of kind of what he'd like to see in the song, and then we sent him a rough draft, and then kind of basically the same exact way we did it with you.
So, Emily, you homeschool, and that's you're full-time mom. That's your career. Todd, what do you do for a living outside of playing in the band with your wife and doing these gigs, and also Gifty Song? What else are you doing?
Currently, I'm actually working full-time with a vacation real estate company over in Boone, North Carolina. We basically manage about 130 properties. It's called Carolina Cabin Rentals. We just manage the homes for the homeowners, and I'm a house checker. I basically drive around from house to house, making sure they haven't exploded and that the water's working, the heat's working, trash is gone. Basically get it ready for all the guests who are going to be coming through. So that's my kind of day job. And that's why I have so much time to listen to podcasts, because I just drive a whole lot and kind of want to redeem that time.
So are you on a path of trying to find something that you could maybe have of your own full time, or is this just something that you feel is a great side thing, and or is it going to lead to something bigger or some kind of big dream that you have entrepreneurial wise?
I definitely would like to see Gifty Song be that
Yes.
thing. You mentioned only being able to write a certain amount of songs per day. We could live off writing one song a day, really, or
We
two
could,
two songs a day.
probably.
And to scale that, we have a lot of songwriter friends and producer friends and just different musicians who we can pull in, and just when we love for it to grow if that's what happens.
So Emily, I played for them the Dan Miller theme song that you guys had written for him. I played the first draft so far of the song that was created for my podcast, which I love. I'm going to play for them after our interview the fully produced version of it to close out the show here this week. But I'd like to ask you, what kind of songs have you created for other people and for different kinds of occasions?
Oh, we have done anything from jingles to wedding songs to one that we did was like a tribute for a guy's dad who had passed away. And that was really touching. Some of these actually make me cry as we write them. It's really fun and amazing to connect with our clients. And
Yeah, we had one client who wrote a song for their son who just helps the family a whole lot and is just a really hard worker. And he said in an email, like, I had to sell something special to me to like do this song, and we were just like just so touched by that, that he would sell some of his prized possessions to write a song for his son.
yeah.
It was just really special.
So the songs that you create obviously are for different occasions. People can write them as gifts to others. That's why it's called Gifty Song, I suppose. On average, how much does it cost for just your standard song for somebody?
Well, our prices start at about $150, and that's just a very basic recording. And you get one edit with that, and it goes up from there. $200 is the next tier. $375, I believe, is or no, 275. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna say not
At
3.
275, you'll begin to have unlimited edits on the pre-production version of the song. So on the version before we send it to the studio. So we'll go back and forth with you as much as we need to. If you don't like anything about the song at all, we'll rewrite the whole thing. Or you could just say, I don't like this melody, or I don't like this sentence, or, So at the 275 price point.
Or you can say, I love the whole song, and
Yes.
you don't have to edit.
We haven't had anybody say that they don't like the melody yet.
We've had someone change a line or a word here and there.
Really just super small edits. And then so 275 is like where that unlimited editing starts. And for like business applications, stuff like that, I would suggest going with the 350 to 395 because we send it into a professional studio and it'll sound just like our CD sounds.
So basically, somebody could really, for no more than $500, they could have a fully produced, custom, studio quality song that is every bit as good as the full version of the Pursuing a Balanced Life theme song that I'm about ready to play for everybody in just a few minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And actually, the version that you got is one level down from the highest version.
But the lowest price is how much?
It's $150 now.
Yeah, it's still very affordable for something custom. Matter of fact, just so folks who are listening know what to compare this to, if you were to go to a quality royalty-free music site such as musicbakery.com and you get one of their songs that you find that you like, then you're paying about anywhere between $45 to $65. And that's actually no lyrics or like people singing or anything like that. It's just the music. You would have to either talk over your music that you purchased from them, and not to mention the fact that that song from Music Bakery is going to be possibly used by other people who have also purchased the license to it. But what you guys have created for me, Pursuing a Balanced Life, this theme song, this is a song that's never been heard anywhere ever before, a melody that's not used for multiple clients. It's my song. I own that song.
Yeah, that's right.
Just for you.
That is awesome.
That's how we roll.
And that's why in our minds it makes such a special gift because it's just one of a kind.
I will tell you, I am so thrilled that you guys are offering this service, and I have no doubt that after people hear this interview with you guys and they hear my story about how there's going to be a lot of other people reaching out to you to create some custom songs for their podcast, and not to mention other things that they'll create it for as well. I love that you guys do birthday gifts, anniversary songs, everything else. I just want to say thank you guys so much for the work that you've done for Dan. I love that song. I can't wait till the end. I shouldn't say this, Dan. I can't wait till the end of your show so I can listen to the song. But I do, and a couple times I'll actually back it up. I'll click the back button and listen to it again. But I feel the same way about the song that you guys have created for me. And so thank you so much for taking the time to cut out of your afternoon to spend some time with me to share a little bit about the backstory about Gifty Song. And if people want to find out more about working with you, all they need to do is go over to podcastanswerman.com/Gifty Song. That's GIFTYSONG. And that will link you over there. And Todd and Emily, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Glad to do it. Thank you so much.
Well, there you go, my friends. That wraps up my interview that I did with Todd and Emily. And I got to say, I love this couple. You just get that vibe that they love creating this music for people. And I believe that Gifty Song is something that is a business pursuit that is going to help take their lives to the next level. I can just sense that they're at the very beginning of something that's going to be big for them. And of course, I also took some time to go look up their band, Battle Victorious, online and checked out their 3 albums. And you know what? They have just amazing talent. I hope that you've enjoyed me sharing this resource with each and every one of you. And I hope that some of you will check it out. Remember, go over to podcastanswerman.com/Gifty Song, GIFTYSONG. I'll play that song for you in just a moment. But before I do, I just want to give you a quick reminder that my next session of Podcasting A to Z is coming up on Monday, May 25th. I know that some of you have been sitting there thinking, I can't wait till that next session of A to Z. I'm finally going to sign up. But I also realize some of you are relatively new to Podcast Answer Man, and maybe you haven't heard about podcasting A to Z. And I'd like to just take a minute to tell you a brief overview of what you get when you sign up for the course. So first and foremost, it is a 4-week course designed to help you launch a podcast. And it doesn't matter if your technical skills are such that you're not even sure how to attach a photo to an email. Literally, I've had 2 students that have been in that situation. And by the end of the 4 weeks, those students had a podcast up and running. Now, for those of you who are extremely technically skilled, you just don't know all the step-by-step things to do to actually launch your podcast. I've had students who have gone through my course, and by the end of the 2nd week, they've already had their podcast launched in iTunes. And for anybody in between, I can tell you that if you sign up for this course and you have a goal of launching your podcast by the end of our 4 weeks together, you will have a podcast. You get immediate access to an online forum that is only for yourself, myself, and the other students in the class. I only allow up to 30 students in each session, so it's a very small group. And as a student of the course, you're going to have your own discussion thread that is designed and devoted just for yourself. And you can actually read the questions and the answers that I give to all of the other students. And you have the ability, if you want, to read through and read their introductions and interact with them. So you're not out there on your own starting your podcast, but you're actually in a discussion forum with a small group of people who are heavily invested in getting their podcast started on the right foot. Now, during the 4 weeks, here's the commitment that I make to you. You have unlimited access to ask me any question you want during those 4 weeks. That's right. You can ask your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I make a commitment to you that during the 4 weeks of this course, every single question you ask me, I guarantee you that I will take time to respond. And not just quick little responses either, but well thought out and coaching style responses to each and every one of your questions. I'm able to do that throughout the business hours of my work week, but you can ask those anytime, day or night. And of course, because forums are time shifted, it works out great. Also, you get access to every single digital training tutorial I've ever created. And not only that, but you also get a guide each week that tells you which tutorials you should go through this week and in what order to go through them. And you check them off as you go. What happens is, as a result of having over 430 students who have gone through podcasting A to Z at this point, I have updated these tutorials. And every time I go and update a tutorial and refresh it and make it new, I take all of the questions that came up from all of the other students that watched the previous version of the tutorial before, and I made sure to kind of incorporate that information into the tutorials such that when people watch my tutorials now, my students will oftentimes say, Cliff, as I was going through the tutorial, I was making a list of all the questions I wanted to ask you. But now here I am an hour and a half later, and I will tell you, you literally answered every single question I had by the time I finished the tutorial. And oh, here's a link to my episode. So there you go. I mean, it's you get all of the tutorials, you get access to me. You also have the camaraderie of doing this with a small group of other highly invested people into taking their message, their business, their life to the next level by creating this content and putting their message out there. And not only that, but every Friday, if you can make it, you can be there live. If not, you get the recording afterwards and you can submit questions beforehand. I do a live group coaching call or a webinar of Q&A, if you will, every Friday afternoon for my students. And that allows me to share with them my screen and answer questions, kind of making mini tutorials based upon the needs of my students in the course so that they can watch in video form how to accomplish some of the things that they need to ask me. And of course, throughout the week, oftentimes I'll get a question and it's like, you know what, this is easier for me to show you in a video rather than trying to respond by writing it all out or doing screen captures and saying, here's this. So throughout the weeks of the course, I'm oftentimes making 4, 5, or 6 little 10-minute video tutorials just specifically for questions that are asked by my students. And of course, oftentimes I just share those as additional resources for future students. So there's lots of material that answers practically just about every question you could possibly answer. And it's all available in this course. but it's going to be easy to consume because I only walk you through in the weekly course outline of exactly what you must see to get through to completion when it comes to launching your podcast. So it's a 4-week course. You have an online forum. You can ask me anything. I guarantee you I'll answer every question you have during the 4 weeks of the course. Small group of other students that you can interact with and that you'll build a relationship with and you can network with. And then you have the weekly group coaching calls. You have all of these tutorials. And at the end of the course, you will be invited to join the A to Z alumni group, which is the private and closed podcasting A to Z alumni group, and I think it's over 300 now, of the 430 students who have gone through my course are actively engaged and involved in helping one another with peer support. Many of those students have been podcasting since 2011 as a result of going through this course, and it never fails. When somebody brand new, they just completed and graduated from podcasting A to Z 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I wish I had access to Cliff still. But they go to the podcasting A to Z Facebook alumni group and they ask a question in there, and what do you know, 10, 15, 20 other podcasting A to Z alumni are there to support them as well, based upon their experience of going through the materials and also having the experience of their own. So this is huge value. If you haven't ever gone there, head over to podcastinga2z.com. Again, that's podcastinga2z.com. I would love the opportunity to work with you and to serve you and to be your personal coach for that 4-week period of time. And now, my friends, without any further ado, I am now going to play for you the final studio-produced version of the Pursuing a Balanced Life theme song. And until next time, I encourage you to take everything you do to the next level.
Today we're chasing after a meaningful life, on mission with a vision in our sights. We don't need easy, just worth the fight. So come along for the journey. We're giving up on ordinary, going to the next level and pursuing a balanced life. Pursuing a balanced life. I've got 100 things I need to do, and how I manage I will share with you. This life wide open, this day brand new. So come along for the journey. We're giving up on ordinary, going to the next level and pursuing a balanced life. Pursuing a balanced life. Business and time management, building good relationships, faith and family, staying fit. Yeah, we cover all of it. So come along for the journey. We're giving up on ordinary, going to the next level and pursuing a balanced life. Pursuing a balanced life. That's a man.